Hi friends. Let's stray away from the zodiac series and get back to the readings a little bit. I will finish off the series with part 3 soon, but I really have this message and it can't wait. So let's get into today's reading. You have been feeling within yourself that it is time to make some changes, okay? Even if you didn't get this feeling, but if you clicked on this video, it means that a part of you resonates. Maybe it wasn't really clear where you have to make changes, but you have this restlessness within you. Have this restlessness within you. You're looking at your life, you're like, I need to make some changes. Not that your life is in disarray, no. It's just that, when you have been in survival mode and then you get out of it, it's like you get out of this trance and you are back in reality and you're like, why is this like this? Why is that like that? You know what I mean? Because you've been living in autopilot before and you literally had bigger fish to fry, and you couldn't just focus on healthy ways of living. The main thing was to survive whatever you were surviving physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, you know. So now you're at a point where even if you haven't worked through like a lot of your issues, but you've worked through most, that now you are out of that survival mode and you're able to sort of look at the things you've went through in a observing mode. You're not into it, you're not engulfed by all of those things. And when you get out of survival mode, it really hits you that you are really just focused on surviving and you are not living. And this means even if you were doing your best to survive whatever, you neglected some parts of your life. And it is totally normal because when you are in survival mode, the brain prioritizes certain things. And if your physical health is not on top of the priority list, it will get neglected. This doesn't mean you are a bad person, it just means you are surviving. And the best thing you can do for yourself now is when you get out of that space and you see the neglect, you must do something about it now. You may have neglected your sleep, neglected your physical health. Some of you, maybe your space may be a bit neglected, dirty, and you may not necessarily be a lazy or dirty person, but it's just that you had bigger fish to fry, you know what I mean? You may neglected your beauty. Some of you may neglected relationships or friendships. It's all a normal part of living in survival mode. But the best part is that when you get out of it, you get out of it and you can make those changes. This is why you have been feeling reckless, and some of you have an idea of what changes you want to make, and some of you may be like, where do I even start? Okay. The first thing I want to talk about is sleep. Sleep. When you are in survival mode, you may have gotten away with not getting enough sleep because you maybe wanted to escape through your thoughts or through consuming content, or you were just too anxious to even sleep properly. But I'm getting now that you are noticing that your body wants more sleep. It's either you are sleeping more than usual, or you're just trying to find a sleeping schedule. You may be struggling with that. Of course, it's normal because your body takes days to actually pick up a habit. So if you're changing your sleeping schedule, do not quickly give up just because you were struggling to follow it in 2 days. It takes about 21 days for your body to pick up a habit. So keep trying. I'm getting that I should tell you that we are children of the sun, Do not be fooled by the illusion of separation. We are all nature, and I just believe in following natural rhythms. For example, it's known that the women's menstrual cycle follows the moon cycle, and I truly believe that we were meant to wake up when the sun rises and get into a night routine when the sun sets. So you may wake up exactly when the sun rises, or maybe at least 2 hours after the sun rises, after the sun has risen, So you can check your weather app and you can see in your region when the sun rises and when it sets, and you can plan your day according to that. The reason why I have mostly felt alive and part of nature when I have done this, sometimes I wake up exactly when the sun rises. Sometimes I'm a little bit more sleepy. I'll set my alarm to 2 hours after. I have always had the habit of waking up before the afternoon or in the afternoon, and I've always felt shitty about that. It's not nice waking up when the world has already moved. You know what I mean? People have already started their day. The sun is starting to get hot and it's been there in the sky. Everyone has woken up, but it's just so nice when you wake up and you can hear the birds waking up as well. You can see the sun coming up and it's not as hot, because it's not high up in the sky yet. You know what I mean? That's just, it's different. And I've been trying that, and my body is still trying to adjust, but I've been loving it. And you can get into your night routine when the sun sets. So it doesn't mean you have to sleep immediately when the sun sets, but you can start to wind down during your day. Dim the lights in your bedroom or in your house. Start cooking supper. Get your shower or bath. Wear your PJs. Drink tea. You know what I mean? and watch more mellow content. Don't watch anything strenuous, So I've been trying that as well, and I would suggest that you try it too. Try it too. If you've been feeling like making a change, try that. Another thing is I'm getting is like blocking, and I'm getting that we block a lot of our thoughts with consuming content, even if it's helpful content like this one. You should limit how much you consume TV and social media. And one thing I would suggest is stop watching TV or YouTube or holding your phone when you're eating, so you can do whatever you want, but when you're eating, just be in touch with the food and focus and be present with the food. You can eat at the dining table and don't turn the TV on and leave your phone in the bedroom, or you can go outside and eat outside. It's so nice to eat breakfast outside, by the way. I would suggest that every time you eat, you go outside and don't watch anything and just focus on the activity of eating. That's already dopamine enough. You don't need that dopamine overload. I've noticed that I am much more present when I eat, and I'm able to tell when I'm full and not full, because I'm not overstimulated, or I don't have like dopamine overload. And we all collectively complain that we can't eat until we find the right video to watch. I don't think that's normal. I remember times where I felt horrible when I couldn't find the exact video that I want when I want to eat, and I maybe settle just for any video. It's like the food didn't taste nice because I didn't have the right video to watch it with. I don't think that's normal. So now I just eat without watching anything, and I enjoy my food, and I don't have this pressure to find the perfect video to go along with the food. So you can make that change. It will be boring at first, trust me, but your brain will get used to it. And you need to get bored. That's the thing. You need to get bored, because when you're bored, you are more creative, because you come up with your brain has space to come up with creative ideas. This is why kids are so creative, because they are so bored. They don't have big responsibilities, and that's why they come up with lots of games. You know what I mean? And I feel that a lot of us are creatives, and if you're so overloaded with dopamine and you don't have space to be bored, you will not have creative ideas. So allow yourself to be bored, and eventually you will see that you'll have a creative idea. You will finally have a plot idea, a novel idea, a song idea. So I remember an example of this. I remember that we had an electricity outage in my area for like a few days, and I was so mad. I was so mad. But at the same time, I was trying to write a short story, and I was a bit stuck somewhere in the story. And during those days, I was so bored that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna entertain myself by trying to restart the story. When I tell you that during those days, I was reaching flow state after flow state because my brain finally had space to be creative, because I allowed it to be bored, you know. And even though I did not create this boredom, it was a circumstantial thing, but it really hit me that, you know, boredom is really needed in the creative process. So this is why I love my life to be peaceful, boring, because I know that when my life is peaceful, boring for the most part, it leads to me having such brilliant creative ideas. So by having these moments, like when you eat, where it's, if you're alone, it's nice and quiet, you can get that boredom. Or if you're living with people and you guys decide to just not watch anything when you eat, you can have boring, mundane conversations, or like those comfortable silences, and just enjoy those moments. The the main thing is to reduce dopamine, so that you are bored and then your creativity increases. You know what I mean? And without taking away the creativity part, but it's just good for you, for your peace, for your anxiety and stuff, you know what I mean? So that's a change you can incorporate in your day. Waking up with the sun, being present when you eat, consuming less content so that you can be bored, embracing boredom so that you can be creative. So I'm getting that these changes will not be easy, of course. Allow time, allow your body, allow your mind to adjust to the changes that you're going to make, okay? Because now you're out of survival mode and you're truly living. And part of truly living is being in reality, being present, and not using things to escape, because now you don't need to escape. Now you can be proactive in your own life. And I'm getting that there is a version of you that is already living this life, a version of you that already has these habits, and I'm getting that this is the beginning of those habits. So there's a future version of you right now that is looking back at you while you're trying to make these decisions, while you're getting these epiphanies, and they're like, this is the day that you will make these decisions, this is the day that you will become me, you know. And one thing that I love that shows this is journaling, because I love when I read back in my journal entries, and I look back at the past me that wrote something that was wishing to become the person that I am now. And I'm like, damn, past me really wrote this. And I was wishing and I was making promises to myself to become this person that I am today, right now. So If you're struggling a little bit to make these changes, to make these adjustments, be comforted with the knowledge that there is a version of you that is already living the life that you're trying to live. And these small increment changes that you're making are building up to the life that you are living. So when you're struggling, try to visualize your future, and it'll become your pillar when you are struggling a little bit. Struggle comes with change. Change is never easy, but it's not impossible. So that is the word that I have for you today. Yeah, I will finish off part 3 of the Zodiac series. Watch the Zodiac series. It's not as serious as these readings. It's just fun. Yeah, watch the series. Yeah, see you next time.